guys, the teasing is finally over and we have a game ready for you that we have been advertising for the last month or so. Hey guys, once again, in case you don't know who this is Bill from NSPC Nintendo Super Power Club Challenge channel. And today we've got a game. It is the last in the Mega Man series in this card collection to be completed, but here it is. It is Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy, and this is card number 120 in the collection. So the Mega Man franchise on the Game Boy is slightly different than it is on the NES in that it usually combines two previous games on the NES, and in this instance it's no different. It combines Mega Man 4 and 5 on the NES to make one game here, which is kind of interesting because it makes for an entirely unique and fresh experience, although it plays out the same way as it does on the NES. Gotta say, it's still a very fun game. I highly recommend giving this one a shot, as well as any of the games on the Game Boy. Let's go ahead and flip it over and see what we're doing today. Alright, at first glance, you might think that this is a pretty difficult challenge, but let's take a look at this real quick. Pro level, we need to beat Dr. Wily's spaceship without buying a super tank. Alright, so to be clear, when I got up to the final phase here, I did have a super tank in my possession, but it was because of a password. It's not because I voluntarily chose to buy one, and I certainly didn't use it when I completed the challenge, so therefore I don't consider this challenge to be invalid. Honestly, I think if all three of these challenges stacked, and you couldn't use an energy tank, an energy balancer, or a super tank, that would be a pro challenge. But as it stands, it's not too terribly difficult. Basically, it's a boss gauntlet like you're used to with the NES, plus you've got Dr. Wily in 3 separate forms, so I guess it could be kind of tough. But when you go in there with all the extra lives and all the regular energy tanks and weapon tanks that you can use to rebuild yourself, like I said, not too challenging. There are some tricky spots, and you will see them in the video here. Not a flawless run, there are a couple of deaths, but again, like I say with some of my other videos, it's good for learning, so take it as you will. Mega Man 4, last of the franchise in this collection. Here we go. Okay, I know you're used to seeing a progress map like on the NES, but sadly you're not going to see that here. It will just transport you right into the spaceship, and away we go. Alright, the first part of this is very simple. You're going to have nothing but missiles flying at you. There are 3 in which you're going to have to duck under, so just keep on moving and dashing and sliding. That's all you got to do. When you get to this robot tank cannon here, just get on top of it and fire the regular buster gun. That's really all you have to do. You could use the ring boomerang if you're impatient, but it's not necessary. You want to save up those weapons because you will need them for the boss gauntlet later on in this challenge here. So this thing obviously can stomp on you and cause quite a bit of damage. You could kill it, but again, it's going to keep respawning if you keep moving backwards, so dash underneath it when it's safe. Get it to another one of these ugly tank cannon looking things. Keep on getting on top and blasting it. Eventually it will fire a missile or 2 at you. If and when that happens, just get out of the way and shoot it. The next one here is a final Spaceship Cannon along with some missiles. So eventually, when you outrun the spaceship, it will fire a missile which will eventually catch up with you. Just take your time, turn around and shoot it. Watch out for the missiles. You will get a health power-up at the end of this in case you did sustain any damage. And you're going to come to the first section boss here, which has a big, ugly, bulbous belly button looking thing for a hit point. And the boss will fire random enemy boss weapons that you have encountered earlier in the game. Basically, whenever it exposes itself like that, take a free shot at it and watch out for the weapons that it fires. The first time it opens up, it will use the arm like that, and then the second time it will use the boss weapon. Pretty straightforward. That, for example, is Napalm Man. You saw Stone Man already. It uses Ring Man, and I think it uses the Ballad Cracker also. So just be careful, use common sense, and with any luck and patience, you will very easily take out this boss. And you'll be moving on to part 2. Okay, here we go with part 2 of this Wylie spaceship. Right away, you probably noticed that your health is not refilled, so you gotta play that really carefully. One thing that you could do if you came into this with a lot of lives like I did is you could just voluntarily take a death, fall in the pit, and get your life back. It's up to you. I chose not to do that. Obviously, with that section right there that we just passed, you can opt to play very carefully, or you could use Bright Man's Flash to essentially stop everything in its tracks. It's up to you. That section's pretty simple. Up here, just kill the vacuum cleaner. When it's safe, jump through. If you get a power-up, great. If not, whatever. Moving on ahead, you're going to see we have this little lovely tiger looking thing, so we kill it. Hopefully it'll give you some power-ups if you need it. Now this section here, you have an option. You can take a hit and run through, but if you're speed running, that is. If you're not, you're going to have to take the jet and blast your way across. With the jet, fly, just keep on moving, go on down. This section here, stick to the right. You're going to have a little chicken robot thing. Just kill it, play it safe, keep on moving. Nothing too complicated here. You're going to come down to this next section, and what you're going to see is a little gem crystal meth shooter, I guess. Kill it quickly, jump over it, and if you need anything, like in my case, I need the Pharaoh shot, and that's huge. That Pharaoh shot is going to be used on many, many bosses throughout the end of this game here, especially Dr. Wily, so make sure you keep that part filled as much as you possibly can. Here, you have the option of killing this thing or just slide underneath whenever it's safe and go through. It's not really necessary to kill it. It doesn't give you much anyway. So moving on down, you have another crystal meth shooter. Go ahead, jump over it, kill it when it's safe. Now you are going to have something that comes out of a pit fairly soon here. This section's pretty straightforward. Not a whole lot to talk about. Keep on moving, moving, moving. Watch out for this thing, play it safe. You're going to have another round of this to go through. Not a whole lot to speak of here. You're going to have one last missile coming out of the ground. You can use the Bright Man Flash. It's not really necessary though. Just play it safe. Now when you come through here, you're going to have your first sub-boss fight of Part 2 of the spaceship. And it's going to require using the Pharaoh shot. So it's basically going to roll around the room, kind of like Gemini Man to an extent. So just kill it when it's safe, jump over them, use that Pharaoh shot. It's going to be the quickest and easiest way to kill these things. Make sure you got a full health bar when you come in, because you could end up taking a loss if you're not very careful. But that Pharaoh shot makes this battle so much easier. Okay, and as we wrap things up, there we go. Every time you kill one of these little sub-bosses, they will give you a little health power-up, which is really nice, because the first time you face this thing, it's probably going to put a hurting on you. Now this section here, you have an option. I highly recommend using the Bright Flash Stopper, because that will stop the missiles that normally come out of the ground in their tracks. Big thing to keep in mind is that when you use the Bright Flash Stopper, you can still use your regular armpit shooter, as I call it. So you're not, defenseless, so to speak. Don't feel bad about using the Flash Stopper. Kill this little chicken, obviously. Maybe it'll give you some power-ups. Keep moving on up. Now this section here, make sure you kill the enemy when he's facing off to the right, or else you run the risk of him having his head fall down and hit you accidentally. Use the jet, get across the hole, same deal. Jump over when it's safe. Feel free to kill it if you want when this is safe. Maybe you get a power-up. Now when you come down this hole, bear to the left, because you're going to have an enemy that will potentially hit and kill you, so stay left. They have a little mummy here that will launch its head at you, much from Mega Man 4 and Pharaoh Man stage. This section you have the dust vacuum cleaner. When it's safe, go down, kill it. And you're going to keep on moving. You're almost done with this section of the level. Watch out for any missiles that may come out of the ground. Okay, this section right here, so you look at the bottom, you have to use the kick, essentially, the kick weapon to blow on through and get all these power-ups here. So you're going to use the charge kick, and right about here my controller is sticking, unfortunately. I know very well how to use the kick. You hit down and shoot, there you go, and it will let you go through and get the power-ups. Finally, my controller starts working appropriately. Now you could go right on through there and land at the mummy, but sometimes you end up falling in the hole and it's not always safe. So just go back to where you were, use the rush coil to jump back on top, and then here you have a couple options. You can jet your way across, or I like to use Napalm Man's bomb to kill that thing and come down when it's safe. Once again, you go through this door, you're going to have another battle with these wall crawlers, and once again, you're going to have to use the Pharaoh shot to ensure you kill it safely. And play it safe. There's only 2 of them this time, so this battle shouldn't be anywhere near as tough as the first one was. So very carefully, you should probably be able to get through this section without much of a problem, and you get 2 health power-ups here for killing 2 of them, so that's kind of nice. Unfortunately, as we can see, our Pharaoh shot is getting a little bit lower here. Now here, once again, you can use Bright Man's Flash Stopper, and right here, across these gaps, you have the option of sliding across. Just be very careful, because you can still get killed if you're not extremely on point, so I recommend just jumping across. Now here, I'm taking some unfortunate hits, but I'm trying to get the kill to see if he gives me any power-ups. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So don't bother killing this guy like I did. Just go down the hole, and once again, once you go down here, you're going to want to bear straight over to the left, because you have another enemy here that could potentially hit you. Just go straight on through, slide across. Another one of these guys. Now you notice that little capsule canister there. Guess where that's going to lead you? Yep, it's going to take you right into the Wylie Robot Boss Gauntlet. You got to kill all 8 of them before facing Dr. Wily once again. Now it's up to you which order you want to tackle these bosses in. You're going to see the order I prefer. Again, it's totally up to you. You have all of the weapons, so it doesn't matter which order you go in. Try to kill the ones that you can only kill with the regular buster if you can. Now you notice here I've got a full arsenal of energy tanks. I got 3 weapon tanks. You notice I do have that super tank there, and obviously I can't use it for this challenge, so just pretend it's not there. So we're going to start here in the top right, which is going to lead us to Napalm Man, and the way you take him out is with the Crystal Eye. Crystal Eye is very simple. You've already seen these fights a million times, and since you've already seen them, there's really no point in watching them the whole way through. I did take an unfortunate death there, but again, I did have pretty low health. I'm electing not to use my energy tanks. I want to save them for when I get to the Dr. Wily battles, so the more you have of them, obviously the better off you're going to be. Since I still have 8 lives, I'm in no major rush or concern. With Napalm Man, I'd say probably the easiest way to handle him is just slide under his regular shots. When he fires a bomb, slide underneath, and then move underneath him when he jumps. It's a pretty straightforward and simple AI, as you can see here. Nothing changes from the first battle to the second one, so just be safe, be smart, kill him, and kill all the rest of them, and you'll eventually find yourself at Dr. Wily's battle here. So that's the first one down. We got 7 more to go. The second one, we're just moving on down the line on the right-hand side. Doesn't matter too much. Next one is Stone Man, and Stone Man, you want to elect to take him out with the napalm bombs. Or you could use the regular buster shot, it's up to you. I like to use Napalm Man because you're not going to need his bombs for when you fight Dr. Wily. You do want to make sure if you use his bombs to drop them directly on his head because his feet, for whatever reason, are invulnerable, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. When those stone shots go off, try to get close to them because once they go on the outside, you don't have to worry, obviously. Unfortunately, we're taking some hits here, which is going to possibly cause us to use an energy tank, but hey, it is what it is. I think here we are going to actually elect to use it because we're almost out of Napalm Man's energy here. And ooh, yeah, we are actually completely exhausted it, so I have the option, but I chose not to use the energy tank. We get a full life refill, which was very fortunate, very lucky there. Moving on to the next capsule, I think on this one we have coming up is going to be, what was it again? Charge Man. Charge Man's kind of annoying. You can use the regular buster. The preferred method of attacking him is with the Stone Man stone attack. Just be very careful because when you see him flashing like that, he is essentially invincible like he has a Mario star. So I guess you could say get in close and then blast him with as many stones as you possibly can. I've elected to use one of the energy tanks here just because I'm almost... Well, actually, no, I didn't really have to do that, but hey, it is what it is. I'm taking a calculated risk, calculated chance because I feel pretty good about the Dr. Wily boss battles coming up. But again, it's up to you. However you feel comfortable handling it, just make sure that you know exactly how many resources you have when you get up to the Dr. Wily boss battle here. Alright, the next one, since we slid through that one container, we're now going on to Ring Man. And Ring Man, again, this is a dangerous fight because the preferred method of beating him is with the Pharaoh shot. And the Pharaoh shot is a very necessary weapon for beating Dr. Wily, 2 of those forms. So use them if you want. If you know the AI patterns, you can use the regular buster shot. Again, it's totally up to you. You saw how quickly the Pharaoh shot made a joke out of that battle, so that's why I chose to do it. You're going to have some energy refills coming up anyway. Alright, this next one we have is Crystal Man. And Crystal Man, again, this was a case where I actually just completely forgot which weapon to use here. We're going with the Ballad Cracker, and let's see if that actually works. Nope, that wasn't it. So what was the one we actually... So we tried Ring Man, I believe, was the next one. We know it's not Toad Man. Toad Man is safe for Bright Man. So we try Ring Man, and that does a little bit better, but it's still not what we want. But the actual weapon that you want to use here is Charge Man's Charge Kick. And basically, it makes the battle extremely easy, because all you have to do is slide kick into him. And check this out. Finally, we get the right attack here. As soon as he comes down, boom, slide right through. And it allows you to really just go through the projectiles without taking a hit if you're smart. As soon as he comes down, just wait for him to come down. There's the kick. Here's the last one, and ooh, we missed. There he goes. Nice little energy refill. So that's really the one of only a couple uses that weapon has in the entire game, along with the lead up here, which had a couple items. So It's a cool, interesting weapon, but not much practicality beyond that. Alright, right here we have Pharaoh Man, and this is where you're going to make use of Bright Man's stopper here, time stopper. So he's going to jump up in the air as soon as you start the fight. So just make use of that Bright Man flash stopper as often as you possibly can. You could use the regular Buster Shot, but because of how much he jumps around, he's very similar to Quick Man. I highly recommend Bright Man's Buster Shot here. Now you notice I'm almost out of health. Actually, no, I'm almost out of Bright Man's weapon, so I got very lucky there. That could have been dangerous. So that finishes off Pharaoh Man. We now have 2 more left to go. And we're going to jump up here to the very top left. And this one, I believe, is going to send us over to Toad Man. Yes, there we go. Now, Toad Man, the way you take him out is with Ring Man's shot. And thankfully, we don't need to worry about using Ring Man's weapon on any of the Wylie boss battles. So feel free to just fire as often as you need to. Toad Man's weapon is kind of annoying because there's no way to really dodge it. You just got to take the hits. So you want to get in quickly with these shots to take him out. There we go. Energy gets refilled, and now we've only got 1 left, which of course is Bright Man. Bright Man is taken out with Toad Man's rain capsule, and that's very simple. You just have to keep on firing the capsule, and all you really got to do from that point is avoid his regular burst shots. And it's a pretty easy win as long as you got full life. So it's going to keep on taking off life. The only time you really are going to be in danger of getting hit badly is when he uses the flash stopper, because obviously at that point you get stuck in the air and you've got no choice but to take the damage. And there we go, we got some pretty nice luck there. Didn't get hit on that last shot. So there we go, all 8 regular Robot Masters are finished and beaten, and now we move on to a brief little section where we can refill selected energy tanks for selected weapons. Clearly, the Pharaoh shot is the most important one you want to refill. The next one you want to go with is the Stone Man shot, because that will be used on the very first form of Dr. Wily here. Other than that, the other one you want to keep aware to keep filled is the Ballad Cracker. So you have Pharaoh Man, Stone Man, and Ballad Man. You want to have all 3 of those weapons completely filled when you go into the Wylie boss robot machines. Anything else you want to fill up is purely for fun. It's not really necessary here. So with that being said, there's the exit to the Wylie boss robot entourage here, and we will chime back in whenever we get to the first of the 3 forms, which is coming up just about any second now. So here we go. Okay, so this is the first of Dr. Wily's forms. He's got 3 of them, and basically you see that little bubble button in the middle there, that's your target. And there's a couple ways you can get to it. The preferred method of doing it is to use the stone shot, and if you're lucky, it'll actually hit the thing twice, maybe even 3 times if you're extremely lucky. The only downside to it is that it's an extremely slow battle. It only does 1 HP worth of damage for each stone that hits. So other than that, you can elect to use the rush coil to jump up there and then shoot it. Maybe you get a couple more extra shots in there. Obviously, the problem with that is that you use the rush coil much more quickly than you would with the stone shot. So pick your poison. There really isn't a quick way to do this unless you get very lucky and you're a speedrunner. Stone shot is the safest way of doing this. If you do run out of stone shot, again, use the rush coil or some other secondary weapon. It's totally up to you. If you wish, you can also use one of those single weapon tanks to refill your stone shot. There's no other time to worry about doing it except for now, so this is a good time to do it. And I think right about now I'm going to actually consider doing it. I'm going to use an energy tank. Again, I know my threshold for damage, and I think it's probably a safe place for me to do it. I can also use a weapon tank. I'm going to not do that. I have enough. Actually, I will do it. Why not? So we're going to use that tank, and we should be full on life and stone shot. That should be plenty of energy to complete this boss battle. Only 3 more hit points left. And there's 1, there's 2, and there's... oh, we just missed the last one. And obviously you can tell, try to move out of the way of those hands. Other than that, not too difficult. It's just a long and tedious first boss form. And that'll move you into the second boss form. And you'll see this is a cutscene where the arms explode. And now the head's going to come down. We do battle with this form. This next form can be extremely tricky if you don't know how to handle it, because sometimes you're forced to take damage. Unfortunately, we do take a death here. The recommended weapon to use is the Ballad Cracker. As you can see, we're moving at 3 times regular speed because we are going to take a death. It is what it is, so no point in watching that. Alright, here's where we do complete it successfully. We're using the Ballad Cracker, and the idea is to get in close when he opens his mouth and use as many of those ballad shots as possible. You probably won't kill him the first time, so just watch out and alternate back and forth, left and right when he shoots those things off of his antenna. When he rushes at you, unfortunately there is no way to avoid this unless maybe you use the rush coil, but even then you'll probably take a shot and take some deaths. Just be very cautious, move back and forth, left and right whenever these things come out of his antennas once again. And when you get lucky, wait for him to open his mouth and unload with the Ballad Cracker. Feel free to use energy if you need to. This is where you're going to want to do it. The third boss battle coming up should be fairly straightforward, and you shouldn't need to use any energy tanks there. So if you get past this, it's basically you're home free, smooth sailing. And there we go. We took out the second boss form, thank God, and now we are moving on to the final boss form, which is the classic Dr. Wily spaceship. You probably guessed it. There we go. And you're going to see he's going to appear very shortly, and we are going to have to fight a reappearing, disappearing Dr. Wily spaceship. Again, the weapon, as I told you from a long time ago, probably the most key weapon in this entire game is the Pharaoh shot, so make sure you got a good supply of it. If you don't, hopefully you have a weapon tank that you can use to fill it up. Remember, you can't use the super tank. That would invalidate this entire challenge. Now, don't do what I'm about to do here. I'm going to show you something. Don't throw it straight up in the air because he will drop bombs, which will stop any attacks that you attempt to throw straight up. Obviously, that's not a smart thing to do, and those bombs will destroy the ground below you. So what you need to be doing is throwing at a diagonal angle here. So obviously wait for him to reappear. Keep moving left and right. Never be standing still because he will drop a bomb straight down on your head. So that's the preferred method of doing it. Unfortunately, I was a little slow there, so it's going to cost me some time. But he will reappear, and right about there, unfortunately, we missed. And he will drop these little bouncy balls, super balls here. And look, even though we didn't get a fully powered shot on him, we still did some pretty decent damage, so that was pretty good. Just keep on moving back and forth, play it smart like this, fire at an angle when it's safe. It's okay if you miss a couple of times, just make sure you're continuously moving, and you will take him down. Boom, look at that, a full Pharaoh shot basically killed him right there. One more good shot will take him down. Only got one little hit point left, and he should be completely destroyed. And that will mark this game and this challenge completed. We just have to keep on moving. Unfortunately, he's just toying with us right now. So we have enough to do one final weapon fill, and that should be enough. We have an energy tank, which we really shouldn't be needing at this point. If we can't take him down with the flight bar that we have, we probably shouldn't be doing this challenge. And there we go, we got him, and this game is complete. This challenge is complete. That's card number 120 in the books. And with that being said, we can now mark every single Mega Man game in this card collection completed. Pretty big milestone, gotta say. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you sticking through and getting through one of these challenges we've been teasing you with for a while. And the next one that we got coming up is another one that we've been teasing you with. So I'll put the choices up here that we've been doing. Take a guess which one it's going to be. And we will see you in the next video. Take care.